Chapter 7. No television, telephone, or hanging out with friends for 3 weeks, all because of that bite. And that ain't even the worst part of it. The principal, Mrs. Saunders, and my mama got their heads together and came up with a way to punish me for good. They say it ain't punishment, but it sure feels like that way. They found me a job that don't pay no money. And ain't no fun at all. I don't even want it, but Mama got her mind set, so that's that. I will be working in the school office, filing papers, stapling letters, and that kind of stuff. This is Mrs. Saunders' bright idea. She talked it over with Mama last night on the telephone. I could hear some of the conversation coming through the receiver. Mrs. Saunders was saying something about me wasting my potential, that the school needed a better way to keep up with me so I don't fall through the cracks. And Mama believes all that crap, when the truth is that Mrs. Saunders is just a big-mouthed, bossy broad who likes to throw her weight around and treat everybody like they are some broken pot she's got to patch up. I could smell the peppermint tea Mama was sipping while she spoke with Mrs. Saunders. Malika's got more potential than she's letting on. Keeping her under the principal's nose may be just the way to get her back in line. Mama and Mrs. Sanders talk a long time. When they're done, I try to tell Mama that Mrs. Sanders doesn't know what she's doing, that she ain't even a real teacher, Mama. But Mama says she don't care. She likes her. That Mrs. Sanders is the first teacher who ever called here to talk about what is going on with you. I like that. It shows she's concerned, that this job ain't just about the money. I tell Mama that Mrs. Sanders don't need no money. She got plenty. Don't it make you wonder, Mama, why somebody with all that money and a good job will give it all up to come to McClinton? Mama sits there for a while thinking. I wouldn't think too much, Malika. She says she's here, and that's what's important. No way Mama gonna let me not work in that office. She's even threatens me, saying if I try to get out of it, she will take away all my rights at home. So I figured, cool, I'll do it. And while I'm doing it, I will find out what the real deal on Mrs. Saunders is. Get all up in her business like she's up in mine. Payback, you know? So the first day I work in the office, I asked Miss Carroll, the secretary, about Miss Saunders. Miss Carroll loves to gossip, so I figure she'll tell me something. Miss Carroll just stares up at me with her arms crossed. You're here to work, right? Then do your work and stop minding grown folks' business. Maxine, the other girl working in the office, is acting like she's filing papers. I know she's listening, though. I leave Miss Carroll standing there with her arms folded, and I file my stuff like she says. Turns out I don't need her telling me about Miss Saunders. It don't take me long to start piecing stuff together from the other teachers. They complain about her every chance they get. If you ask me, that program doesn't work one bit, Mr. Max, the science teacher says. A school doesn't run like a corporation. Things don't happen at the snap of a finger or the drop of a pen. Change takes time. A bull in a china shop, that's what she is, Miss Benson, the librarian says under her breath. She's not following the curriculum the way it's laid out. She's pushing the kids too hard, telling them to read 50 pages one night, 30 pages the next. I'm telling you, hiring her was a bad move. If those teachers knew I was working at the desk, they would be more careful. But they don't know I'm here. I've dropped some paper clips on the floor, and I'm crouched under the desk to pick them up slowly. It looks like nobody around me but Miss Carroll, and she's in the back Xeroxing. Maxine is running errands. When I stand up, Mr. Mac gets all red-faced. He thinks I'm trying to be a smart aleck. His lips curl up tight. My, Malika, aren't you the lucky one? Here to work in the office, I see, he says, stomping out the door, right into Mr. Pajol's office, who's heard everything he said. Sometimes, Mr. Mack, you need new ideas to do things differently. Nothing wrong with a little change, is there? He asked. I'm sorry, Mr. Pajoli, but the way I see it, rewarding those misbehave and refuse to play by the rules is wrong, dead wrong. How will you reward the good ones? Put them in detention? Mr. Mack asks. They're all good ones, Mr. Mack. Some of them just need more support than others. Mr. Mack makes a clicking noise with his tongue. He and Mrs. Benson walk down the hall together, side by side. We all think those two got something going on, even though we never see them kiss or even hold hands. Mr. Bajoli tells me not to worry, that things will work out fine for me, if I try hard enough. All the time he's talking, I'm trying to figure out how I can cut this gig loose. I mean, let's face it, I got better things to do with my time than work for free.